Hi everyone, so Addicted to Nature here, and today we are going to be propagating pineapples from pineapple tops. So I have a wonderful pineapple here. It smells amazing, and as you can see, I just got this from the store. Nothing special about this pineapple, okay? And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to twist the top off of the fruit. Now, when you're looking to buy a fruit, you can buy a big one. However, the most important thing that you want to buy is make sure it's green, okay? Make sure that it is not ripe yet, because I found that the more ripe that this pineapple is, the harder it is for this top to root and to grow into a new bromeliad. So this guy is mostly green still. If you sort of look at this part, you could kind of see that it's getting starting to turn yellow. So I want to get this in the water as quick as I can. And this is all we're gonna need for now. I'm gonna get a cup of water and the pineapple. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move the water away so it doesn't like spill everywhere. But I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna get one hand firmly, let's move that over. I'm gonna take one hand firmly on this pineapple. I'm gonna take my hand and grab it by the base here, right here, and I'm just going to twist with my right hand. So I'm gonna twist inside. You can twist out too, it's fine, but you're just gonna do a twisting motion. Don't pull yet, just a twist. Okay, and once you get that twist, it might take a while, but once you get that, you can hear it. I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer. Hear that tearing? Right, so I'm also rolling this pineapple, right? Once you get that rolling good, now is when we tear. So I'm just gonna tear it off, just like that. And this is the top of the pineapple, okay? And we can set that aside. We can cut it up when it's a little bit more raw. When it's a little bit more ripe. So I'm gonna set this aside. We're not gonna need it anymore. So now what do I have? I have this tag. It's the stores where I get them from. This tag is sort of stuck inside the pineapple. They actually sort of go inside and pierce it. Totally fine, doesn't matter, we're just gonna remove this. Okay, so what do we do next? The next thing we're gonna do is, this place right now is still wet. It's a fruit, right? I can eat the fruit here, but we're not gonna need that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start taking the leaves off at the base here, right? There's a if you look here, there's a section, or there's a couple of leaves that are sort of really stuck on that. I just leave them on there. It doesn't really matter. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do sort of like a tearing motion. If you've ever had succulents and you're propagating succulents, you know what I'm talking about. It's more of a side to side instead of a straight up. Okay, so you're gonna tear it from one side to the other. It should come out pretty clean. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep doing this, going around in circles over and over again. Okay, and while I do this, let me show you guys exactly what's happening. So you see these things right here, these things, let me get this to focus, but oh crap, it's not focusing. Okay, maybe if I hold it a little bit. You see these things? Those are like the roots, okay? Now what I've found that is, it tends to grow more roots out of itself, but some people also say that these guys sort of rehydrate. I've never seen that happen, so just to put that out there. And this is exactly where the roots are going to come from though. I know that from firsthand experience, and I'll show you guys in a little bit my pineapple plant that's actually already rooted in a pot and growing really well. So while I'm doing this, it takes a little bit, but let me talk about pineapple care. So if you've ever grown bromeliads, you sort of know that they're from a tropical place, right? So what does that mean? It means that in the winter, if you go below freezing or close to freezing, you don't want this pineapple to be outside. Okay, I had a couple of pineapples in the years before I did this video, and they actually, you need to be really on top of the weather. You need to make sure that there aren't any frosts, because I've lost a whole year's worth of pineapples to frost. So if one frost is all it takes to kill them, All right, so you need to keep these guys indoors. They can be grown indoors as an indoor plant. It's totally fine. Nothing's going to happen. Okay, so before I keep talking about this, see this? This is where the tag was, okay? And it sort of just came off. This is where they stuck the tag inside. So I think it's ugly. I don't want to put this into the water, right? Because I'm afraid that it's going to rot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep ripping off until I get past this stage. So you can see, like, if you keep ripping off, you're gonna see that. And in a bit, it's going to just sort of disappear. Let me get the other bases off, and you can see that it's here. Okay, so I'm just going to, that should be the last of them. Okay, so here it is. The leaves, all the other leaves are good. This is the best I can do with this pineapple, okay? Sometimes it's a little bit better, but if you were to look, let me rip off some of that stuff here for you. Here's the pineapple thing. I can take a knife. In fact, you should take a knife and cut it so that it's a little bit, there's only a little bit of this yellow part left, okay? But since I don't have a knife with me right now, that's fine. We're just gonna leave it on here, hope for the best. But see, look at this. The inside of it, don't mind the outside edges here, but inside is perfectly green, okay? It's green. You can sort of see the bud inside, and there's no disease, and there's no, it didn't get cut. If you go to Walmart, at least Walmart, that's where I think I used to like look for these pineapples, because they were pretty cheap, and it was sort of an experiment. I didn't want to eat so many pineapples. Walmart sort of has the inside cut. Okay, I don't know why they do that. There's no reason for me to guess, but don't get those. You want to make sure that the inside is perfect, okay? And it's okay if there's a little bit of dying or decay at the top. Just make sure it's not too much. Your ideal is you want to be able to get about an inch here, an inch of no leaves, okay? And this is where the roots are going to come out of. So next thing we're going to do is we are just going to set this in the water, okay? I would change the water every 2 days at like max 2 days. You can change it every other day. You can change it every day. But make sure that this does not grow any bacteria, grow any mold, because there's no other way of killing it as like you can kill this really easily if you let it mold over. All right, so this is actually a lot of water, right? I don't need that much. So I'm just gonna pour it out. There's a little flower pot down there. I'm gonna pour it out. I'm gonna show you guys. So here's a little bit less. When I put this down, okay, this cup is small enough that the leaves of this plant sort of stop it from going out any further, right? So I could just lay that out on there, and that's fine. That's all I need to do. I can put this in a windowsill. Some people like to leave this out for a day or two and let it like cure over. I found that if you were to change the water pretty well and make sure the water level is correct, you don't really need to do that. It'll root by itself. Other people plant this straight into the ground with rooting hormone, but with this one, I can make sure that it's got a lot of roots before I put it into the ground, okay? So this is my favorite method of just putting the pineapple in here. And so if you take a look at that is the correct water level. I'm gonna move this up a little bit so you guys can see this perfectly. That is the correct water level. You can go all the way up to around here. Do not go up here, okay? As long as it's by the base that you cleared, it's fine. Okay, don't let it go down here either. Just make sure that it covers all the brown roots. Oh crap, I didn't mean to point like that. Make sure that it covers all the brown roots and a little bit of the yellow. Like this should be your range, okay? And with evaporation every day, you're gonna need that range. So that's all you need to do. Keep this. You don't need to cover it, okay? You don't need no saran wrap or anything, because that will actually make it mold over again, right? Keep this by a windowsill. Lights, they're not that picky. You don't need extra lights. You don't need to, like shine a light on it. Windowsill, no direct. Do not keep this outside. Keep this in a lighted place with you know, hope with air circulation, so that the biggest problem is mold, okay? And the second biggest problem is picking the wrong pineapple. Remember, I said make it as green as possible. It needs to be as fresh as possible. If it's too ripe, it's not gonna work, right? And with the leaves too, make sure the leaves are green, make sure the leaves aren't, the inside of the leaves aren't like cut up. Okay, let me show you, let me just cut the video here and I'll show you what I have now. Hi everyone, so this is my adult pineapple plant. So it's already rooted from the, you know, from that, and what happened is I put it into the soil when I saw the roots. I kept it inside for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then I put it outside. Okay, so once you put it into the soil, you want to make sure it's well watered, that the soil isn't too moist and soggy, because remember, the two of the most important things you want to make sure is A, it doesn't freeze over. One night of frost will kill your pineapple. One night close to 0 will kill your pineapple. You don't want it to go close to 0. Okay, so if it starts getting cold in the fall, bring it inside, keep it as a house plant. Second thing is the soil. Okay, even though this is a tropical plant, you want to make sure that there's water inside this pot. Don't keep it too soggy, it'll rot, but also don't treat it like a cactus or a succulent. Okay, and let me show you guys this. Even, you see how these dead leaves are here? I left these on here so I could show you guys, but I'm about to cut this off with a knife, okay, a blade. And all I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut it like I have done here, where the green part I still leave on, and then the sort of the dead part I cut off, okay? And that's totally fine. It's not sick, it's not, this leaf got in the way, but it's not sick, it's not dying. What tends to happen is the bottoms start to sort of wither out, and then the top just grows more. If you look inside, the top is growing more. I can't, you guys can't really see that, but this plant is in the second year of growth. Like I said, it takes 2 to 3 years to flower and create a pineapple. So, which means that last spring I put this into the ground and I started planting this. Okay, so it's got all of last spring, all of summer, a little bit of fall, and then I put it into the house to make sure there's no frost. And then I took it out. Today's May 20th, and I took it about 2 weeks ago. So almost like start of May, take it out, because where I live, that's how you guarantee that, you know, it's not going to get cold again. And apologize for the noise of the wind. It's really windy right now, but I wanted to show you guys make this video. Fertilizer, you could use Miracle Grow, you know, any sort of tomato fertilizer, whatever you have on hand is probably going to be fine. Make sure that the leaves are nice and dark green, and like if you guys look in here, you guys can see the little rocks here. The different colored rocks are the fertilizer. And the thing is, like any good fertilizer, you want to make sure that the fertilizer doesn't sort of stay on the leaves. It will burn the leaves if you keep the fertilizer on there. You want to make sure that the fertilizer is in contact with the soil and not the plant itself. When you're watering, you can go straight down the middle. That's how other people have said to do it. I've never really noticed a difference whether or not you plant or whether or not you do it from here or in the middle. I just sort of do whatever strikes me at the time. And so that is all I wanted to say about the pineapple. Remember, frost and rotting are the 2 biggest enemies of pineapples. And good luck. I hope all of your pineapples end up amazing, and leave it in the comments if you have any more questions. I'll answer them. I always answer my comments. And so thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you feel like you learned something.